Jennifer's evil.
I know.
No, I mean, she's actually evil. Not high school evil.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Katie Afraidy on the Fangoria Network. I'm your host, Katie Hettenbach. Before we get started again, remember to like, subscribe, give us a review, all that jazz. Katie Afraidy across all platforms. Please check us out, follow us. I dare you. Triple dog dare you. Anyways, I'm so excited for this person to be here. She's a delight. She's hilarious. She performs all around town, as the comedians say. As the comedians say, it's Emily Kirk.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I'm terrified to be here.
Me too. Oh my God. I was walking down Burbank where we film, and I just started bleeding out of my chest.
Yeah,
and,
as you do.
As one does.
It's a Thursday.
As one does. I actually should have introduced you as Jennifer Check. And you could be like, oh my God, Jennifer. I'd be like, oh my God, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Keep
Oh my
telling
God,
Jennifer. This is so embarrassing. We're the same outfit.
I'm in the casual one, though.
Yes.
You're a little more formal.
I mean, it's how can you beat? Okay, obviously we're talking about Jennifer's body, but before we get into that, let's are you a big horror fan?
Oh, I love horror. I grew up watching classic horror. I loved Bride of Frankenstein's still one of my top favorites, but it's like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula. I grew up on all that and like wanted to be friends with the monsters. And then I got older and saw like, Friday the 13th and Halloween and the serial killer kind of monsters, and they weren't quite my jam. I still appreciate them, but it's like I want to hang out with like Frankenstein's monster and all those dudes. Like I see myself in them because they like just didn't fit in exactly. I mean, it's fine. I'm good now.
I'm fine. I swear to God.
But I'm just saying, like other kids were scared of them, and I was like, no, they're just like misunderstood.
I love that.
Oh,
that's so sweet.
Where were you when I was growing up?
What the heck?
We could have been buddies, dude.
That's so
on
nice.
the playground.
I mean, I wasn't into horror till like late middle school. I always found like that stuff interesting, but I never like dove into it until like maybe high school.
There's so much to dive into.
I know, and everyone still to this day is like, "Oh, you've seen like every horror movie," and I'm like, hi, do you know how many movies there are?
So many.
There's so many,
and I kind of like not seeing all of them.
Yeah,
because then there's more to discover. Like the older you get.
Yeah, and it's like it's okay. And, it's like there's so much. Like this is a fun tee hee ha ha, little podcast where we think we know what we're talking about, but sometimes we're clueless, and then we have Ben look something up, and that's what happens. Also, Ben finally has a lav.
Ben.
So Ben can talk, and you can hear him now. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that great?
Yes.
I'm very excited.
Ben answers for me. Thank you. During Women's Month, he answers.
I'll just answer quieter.
Go women.
Go women and Ben.
He's an ally. It's important.
Ally. So we watched Jennifer's Body, 2009.
Yes.
Ugh.
So good.
Do you remember when you first saw this movie?
So I actually, it's kind of sad to admit to this, but like when it came out, I was a huge hater.
Yeah.
Big hater. I think it was marketed terribly.
Yeah.
Because it was being pushed to what they thought like young boys would be into.
Yeah.
And I guess it felt like patronizing to me, especially as a woman. I was like, I don't want to watch this. Like I was kind of anti-Megan Fox, which was probably repressed feelings of being bi. And that thing of like picking on somebody on the playground that you like. So I didn't watch it when it came out. And I remember a couple friends saying they liked it. And then in college, I was randomly walking around a Walmart, as you do in Evansville, Indiana, because what else is there to do? And my friend told me it was like in the $5 bin. And she was like, we should watch this. So I bought it for $5. We watched it and I fell in love right away. So
that's awesome.
I guess, I was late to the party, but I'm glad I got here.
Yeah.
I think it's such a great, feminist, fun, cool horror movie. And I'm so glad to talk about it with you.
Dude, it's a delight. I don't remember exactly when I first saw it. I think I saw like, honestly, probably high school again. But it's all kind of blurs together at this point when I first have seen a lot of movies at this point. But it's so iconic, and it's just so, it's not only funny, but it actually is kind of scary.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you, Ben was like, oh, Jabba Cody, are you going to do Lisa Frankenstein.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I love that movie. I'm violently obsessed. But that is definitely more of a comedy with horror
Yes.
elements.
Yes.
But this is a horror film. Like, this is a straight up horror film.
Which I appreciate. Like, there's
Yeah.
legitimate jumps and things
Yeah.
that still, even though I've seen it many times, I still get like uneasy about
Ooh,
the eye transformation every time. Like,
it's impressive.
and the teeth.
It's so if your friend got possessed by a demon, would you, like, what would you do? What's your initial reaction to that?
Well, I do want to say, I mean, the friendship between Needy and Megan is definitely toxic.
Yes.
And I think that's another thing that's interesting that the movie brings up is these kind of toxic relationships you do have with other girls sometimes in your life. So in their case, it was like way too toxic. And I think Needy did what she had to do. My best friend that I've known since middle school, like if she was possessed, oh man, that would be really hard. I'm a very emotional person. I'm a Cancer, so I'm like crazy emotional and cry about everything. I was crying on the way here for something. And oh man, the idea of like having to actually stab somebody and like do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
I think I would just try to like understand that like, that's what she would want me to do because she wouldn't want to be that way. But what about you? You seem like you're like gunning to do it.
No, I would. No, I mean, it depends on like the situation, but yeah, probably would. Well, it would try to get other people to like be aware of what's happening.
That's a smart idea.
And
Get more
try
people
to-
on your side.
Yeah, because Needy tried, but like Chip wasn't like believing her.
Oh
and-
God, yeah,
I mean,
little teenage dude.
Little, but he's such a cutie.
He's
The actor-
girl, you don't gotta
he's
tell me. I was very into him.
Such a cutie. Everyone's just
Everybody's hot in the movie.
Also, there's. Yeah, so I'll finish this thought.
Sorry, I
and
know
then
I'm
I'll go
jumping
next one, 'cause
around.
I'll also jump around too, because I always forget to finish a thought, and that always drives me nuts in podcasts when they do that. No, but yeah, so I would if I needed to do it, I would get it done. I'd get it done. Now here's the second thought. There's so many. Like, there's so much star power in this movie that's like just like a throwaway.
Yeah.
Like, you have Amy Sedaris as Needy's mom, who's just in like one scene.
But she's
Amazing.
impeccable. Anything she touches.
You have the actor who voices Patrick Starr.
Yeah,
He's the coach.
dude.
Like, what?
Because you hear it like in high school. You're like,
Yeah.
who is it? Or whatever age I was
Yeah.
at college when I saw it. And it's like you're like, I recognize this voice. Also, J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Who we had just seen in Juno, or at least in my head, that's who I associated
Yeah.
him with. And now he's like State Farm or whatever,
Yeah.
or Farmers Insurance. One of the insurances.
We are farmers.
Bum, 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 bum. Credit.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and then like Chris Pratt's in it,
Yeah.
which is just,
And he looks exactly like every Midwest guy at a bar.
oh my God. Yeah.
that
it's-
was like eerie when I saw that. How
And-
that's the dating scene.
and you and I are both Midwest people.
Yes.
And I didn't realize, I was like, why does all of Diablo Cody's movies like loosely take place in the Midwest? She's from Illinois.
That's
And I was
why
like,
she gets it.
oh, this makes sense. Because she's like, oh, Devil's Kettle. And someone's like, Devil's Lake. I'm like, that's in Wisconsin. Devil's Lake is in
Dude.
Wisconsin. And I'm like, and what is it called? Oh, what is it called? This is where I start to lose. What is the Waterfall to Nowhere is actually in Minnesota.
Oh, I didn't realize it was an actual thing.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. So it's like all these places are like real, but like in this fictional world.
But
it's
yeah, I
all
love
the
that. That it
Midwest.
could kind of be anywhere. I mean, she never really says, I mean, she acknowledges that it's Midwest, but she never really says like the place. I like when
Yeah.
it's a fictional, because then anybody can kind of imprint their
Yeah.
experiences in their town.
It's all
in it.
the Midwest.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. And I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
Midwest, this is awesome. Because we need
And the
more.
accents, you can hear the accents come out, especially with J.K. Simmons.
Yes. And
It's like, I love you kids.
you guys are so great. And what is Chris Pratt in the bar.
Yes.
He's really,
Oh my God.
oh, you're under arrest. Oh, hey, not here. Not here.
Not here.
He's such a creep.
Back
Oh
when
my
he
God.
tried to voice act.
Remember that? And
Remember?
He's like
he was
Mario.
trying then.
He's like,
That
I'm
was
gonna
cool.
be Mario really quick. So also like something I realized while watching this time around is I kind of wish that there was a sequel or it was longer and we could see more of Needy. In the mental institution.
Yeah. I think that would have
Because
been so fun.
She's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Like the opening of like like, what is this movie? And you just see, you know, Amanda Seyfried, who you know is just like this sweet little angel.
Very unassuming.
Very unassuming. And then she's just, you know, like drop kicking people.
That orderly for like no reason. The orderly was just like, oh, you should have something else for breakfast. Like, don't just have that.
Yeah. And she's like, bitch.
And she's like, I think you need to shut the fuck up.
And, like the blood. And like everyone was like, and I would love to see more of that. And like, you know, the other interactions she has with inmates and like, you know, what her, but also her, you know, towards the end, obviously she escapes, but like the rampage that she goes on, you know, she goes to kill Low Shoulder, but like, what does she do after that?
Yes.
You know? What does her life look like? Does she settle down? That
is tricky because it's like, would we want it to be a 2-hour or, you know, a much longer film or a sequel? Because I do like it as a standalone.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was actually thinking that last night that it would have been cool to see a bit more of Needy's transformation because it just kind of, I mean, she's definitely developing as a character, but as far as getting the demon powers, we don't see very much of it.
Yeah, and it would be cool to be like, oh, she's
like,
now,
she flies. What else does she do?
Yeah, how did she
apparently has super strength?
How did she realize she could fly?
Yeah.
How did she? Because I feel like that moment would be like, oh, wait, what's going on?
And it would have been like, it could have been funny. It could have been like so many different tones.
And I wonder if she like, you know, battled with the emotions of it.
Yeah.
As women, we're emotional.
Oh yeah,
we're emotional beings.
right. I love it.
I've heard about it.
And, you know, to have her, like, you know, battling with that and whatnot and be like, I'm a demon. Like, is this, like, good or bad? But then finally coming into herself and being like, no, this is just.
It's kind of like women accepting that they have a monster in them, I guess. And just, like, accepting that, like, you have it and you use it sometimes, but most of the time you keep it at bay.
And that's the episode. Wow, that was it.
Dude, I just. So deep, dude.
So good.
I'm so deep.
Was so freaking good, bro. That's such a big brain thought. That was so good. What the heck?
I'm sure somebody else has said that. There's no way. There's no way I'm the first person to say that.
Probably not, but for me, you are, and that's all that matters.
Cool. I love being your first.
You know, it's great. It's great. The also like the, you know, you are obviously dressed as the iconic first outfit of Jennifer Check in her cheerleader, where she's a flag twirler.
Yeah, apparently. And she has cowboy boots on. And I always thought it was tennis shoes. They were cowboy boots.
And that's the coolest thing you could do at the school is flag twirling.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought those kids were bullied.
Not if you look like Megan Fox.
Not at this school. Not at this school. They are. And I don't know anything. I was in speech. I was in like competitive speech.
Yeah, I did speech team, and I was a theater kid. Yeah. Not a cool theater kid because I didn't know all the words to all the musicals, but more like the theater kid that was just trying to like make out with people and like do silly stuff.
Oh, I love that. I
love
love that.
But everybody was gay, so they were like not into it.
They're like, you love me, and you're like, you might be gay.
They're like, no, we're just doing a show together, girl.
You're like, but we're in love, aren't we?
Yeah,
aren't we?
that's how it works.
That's how it works. I remember like anytime I would see a show when I was like, even now, I'm like, I know you're gay, but like you are the hottest man I've ever seen in my entire life, and I want to marry you. I'm obsessed with you.
And especially again, growing up in the Midwest, that was like the most kind of cultured guy I could find. Not saying they don't exist, don't come for me, but like in high school, it was very similar to how Megan felt when she saw like those band guys. Like you just want something different. You want a guy that wears makeup, or you want a guy that dresses different, or a guy with long hair.
You want Adam Brody.
Yes, who didn't want Adam Brody when it came out.
I love when he goes up to sing, and before he sings, he has a gum and he just spits it
right on somebody.
He's like, and now I'm gonna sing the song, and it's just like
it's such a good touch.
He's such a douche.
You know everything about that character
instantly.
Yeah,
you're like, this guy's a douche,
and he's the only guy that you see Jennifer get like flustered around.
Yeah,
like she's so confident around all these other men that she's used to controlling with her body and her everything. And then seeing him, it's like, oh, this is new territory.
Yeah.
And it's interesting seeing her like kind of squirm a bit.
Yeah. And also this bar, okay, so how are they? There's a lot of underage kids in this bar.
Lot. Yeah.
Like I get Midwest bar, but like, what the fuck?
I went to like coffee houses that would do that, where it would be like all ages welcome, but I never was in like a bar like that. I mean, I definitely got snuck into a casino to see Joan Jett, which was tight. But
fair.
But yeah, I never would have gotten to a bar like that.
Yeah,
we weren't having.
No.
I mean, maybe I wasn't getting invited to them.
I think that might have been it for both of us. Yikes.
But look at us now.
Look at us now. We're doing a podcast in costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With blood.
With blood. Ooh.
Like you could be plugging.
Anybody got a tampon?
So good.
Oopsies. Like the lines are just so, and like
So quotable.
just like it's just so ridiculous. It's so over the top, but it's also like it's real.
Yes.
Like even the interaction with Needy and Jennifer, like when they're in the house initially, and like they're like shoving each other. He's like, no you, and Jennifer just shoves her against a wall, and I'm just like, that like last push is so funny because it's so aggressive out of nowhere and just shows like their relationship is like, it's definitely just like
it's those girls. Like it's, I think I don't want to speak for all women, but I think a lot of us have had at least one toxic friendship with a woman.
Yep.
And there's always been that moment where she like talks over you, or she goes after the guy you like, or she pushes you a little too like things just get a little too rough or a little too intense. So I love that stuff. I mean, it's dark and it's funny, but it's like, I love Heathers. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's, it's kind of very much in the vein of that. And like, fuck me gently with a chainsaw. Like that is how girls talk to each other.
Literally.
And nobody was really showing that, I feel like, in film.
Yeah. Dude.
I mean, Mean Girls kind of was doing it, but.
Yeah, but this was like Mean Girls, like, but if they were like, a demon. And like they didn't.
Demon Girls.
It's also, compared to Lisa Frankenstein to this, Lisa's Frankenstein's like PG-13, this is obviously R, so it's like everything is just upped. And so were the kills.
Yes.
And the, poor Kyle Gallner. Okay? That guy, he's like Justin Long in all these movies. Where you're like, anytime he's in a movie, you're like, shit.
Yep.
This
not now though. He's got this like villain era happening. I feel like.
That's good, but he's like.
But
Smile,
usually no.
Smile. He was just in Smile. I need to have him on the podcast because I want to talk to him and be like, "What are you doing? Are you okay? Like, I'm worried about you. Who's your agent?"
He's probably doing better than
He's probably doing great. I mean, it's a great role, but like Scream 5, he was in. Got his ass beat so quick. Like it was just spoiler for that, but whatever. Like, poor guy, and just like the soup. He's just soup. He's just, I
love soup.
He got the blood. He's got the blood. Loves soup. Do you have a favorite soup?
Oh man,
you're like, boy.
I'm actually, again, I don't want to sound like a hater. Like, I need like a hearty soup.
Okay.
Like, I like albondigas, like big meatball kind of soup, or like a hearty, like a chili. Like, I'm just not somebody that's like, yes, I want the split pea soup.
Okay.
Or, I mean, if I'm gonna do a tomato, there's got to be a big ass grilled cheese with it.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Ben?
Ooh, you ever get like a nice like a butternut squash
Ooh.
soup?
That sounds nice and healthy.
That's so awesome for you guys.
Are you into soup?
I'm not a soup person.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather, have like a solid.
Yeah, I like a bite of something. I got teeth for a reason.
Yeah, it's like if I'm gonna do it, have a grilled cheese with like a little bit of
it's
like,
more of a garnish.
Yeah,
or
like,
a dip.
Dip. It's a
because we gotta be dipping.
She gotta be dipping
from Midwest.
She'd be dipping. She'd be dipping. I wrote a handful of moments that are like just absolute chicken scratch on my notes, but the initial moment where we meet Jen the demon, or Jen. I was like Jennifer. I was like, wait, why am I Megan, Jennifer? I don't know. They both sound like.
I said girl. Megan earlier. I think
it's all.
That's
good.
why
it goes hand in hand. But just the, she's smiling. She's hanging out. She's, hey, Needy, that's good. She's just, hey, and I'm gonna eat some meat from the fridge, but like in like the squat position. That's
always scary.
I just thought how fun this was to shoot and just go fully like
that chicken was so cold.
That
though.
Chicken was
the texture had to be so
nasty.
gross.
It was
like
just rubber.
Anytime you have an eating scene, you're like, you don't think about the fact you have to do it over and over again.
Oh my god! And I like something that I never thought about was the aftermath of cleaning up after a demon. So like, she pukes all over, Needy black. And everywhere. And then you see like, Jen the next day is like totally fine. And she's like, I know it was real. I was cleaning it up all night off the linoleum, and it's just her scrubbing the black vial. I'm like, that's also an interesting concept, like the cleanup party for these exorcisms.
Yeah,
like,
nobody's
what does that look like? That's somebody's job.
Yeah,
yeah. Or
somebody's got to clean that up.
So they call somebody, and like this is like their life.
It's like the cleanup guy from Pulp Fiction.
Literally,
yeah,
literally.
Like he's supposed, or the wolf.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to get the job of being on art department and drawing the like terrifying crayon drawings that like possessed children draw.
Yes,
that's got to be a good gig.
It's fun.
There's like all those repressed thoughts that I never ever think about. Let's put those on a page
literally.
now.
I've done. I worked on Dave season 2, and I became the prop department's friends, and they were like, do you want to help us make snowflakes? So I would literally say I made like 100 snowflakes, and the one that Dave cuts is actually mine.
Is yours? That's so cool. I love that show.
But it's like nobody's gonna notice that I'm like this mess.
But I'm a big fan of little things like
the
that.
details like that.
Yeah,
and like,
that's what makes it like special.
Yeah,
just like real life.
Just like this, just like this little life. Think I like this little life. What the hell does this say? Oh, so everybody dies, whatever at the bar, whatnot.
Yeah.
And there's just
trauma.
I was specifically just writing down moments that like really got me, and it's when she goes to see the jock, who's just standing in the middle of the football field by himself.
Right, Dave.
And you see her walking from really far away, and there's just this hard metal music, and she's walking really slowly, and he turns, and then she just appears on the other side of him, and he's like, what the fuck? I think that is so underrated, and just it's so like I don't want to say like not stupid as like a insult, but like stupid as like it's so simple of a concept.
Yeah.
And it's just so silly, and it's great.
Well, and I think it's interesting. That's why I love, especially when you have a female director doing horror, because the female gaze is so different and interesting. And sometimes it is just a simple thing like that, but like it's just looking at things in another way. Like it still can be titillating and sexy or scary, all those things, but it's just done in a way we haven't seen a million times because a bunch of male directors have already done most of those shots.
Yeah.
So it's like, why wouldn't you have her just show up now?
Yeah. Why not? Why not have her
like,
show up from their side?
Or when she's that whole scene in the water after she's killed him is one of the sexiest scenes ever. Yeah. And you don't really see anything. It's all like tease. Like there's never any like gratuitous shots or things that feel like just titillating for the sake of it.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And it's just like everything, even when she's, Jonas is his name.
Yes.
Good. I'm so bad at names. In fact, I remember it shows how much I actually
It's okay. I called her Megan earlier, apparently.
Yeah, but like even on the on the show, I'm notorious for being like, I don't know, I'm gonna look up on IMDb. The fact that I was like, oh, his name's Jonas. Like that's good for me. Good for me. Good job. We're getting better.
You're killing it, Katie.
We're getting better. But like when Jennifer like unzips her shirt just ever so slightly, but again you don't see anything. But
it's so hot though.
It's hot. Everything like
she's very calculating with all those moves.
It's also like if you don't feel something during this movie, like you don't have a soul. You know? Like it doesn't matter, gay, straight, but whatever your sexuality is. This is a hot movie.
It is,
and it's for everybody.
It's also scary.
It's also scary. Which
like that silhouette of her when she's just like going to town on him in that house is...
for Kyle.
Yeah.
No,
sorry, I'm like jumping around.
His name is Colin. Yeah,
Colin,
the goth.
Yes,
the goth. Kid.
Which that's another thing. He totally goes into this sketchy ass house.
Yeah, he's like,
also like this is normal. This is fine.
The fact he's singing the. I can see clearly now the rain is gone.
Yes.
I can see all the voices and then he's like, I'm gonna go into this abandoned house. Like that's on you, dude. At this point, you deserve to die.
But it's also kind of neat seeing it reversed because it's always the opposite. It's always like some creepy dude invites a hot chick to some dilapidated environment, and she's just like, "Hello, like what's."
Yeah, and he's like, what do you mean? I thought you were into this.
Also, Jennifer was playing Akon's like, I want to fuck you, which was like so funny. Like, she's like, what do guys want to hear when they want to fuck?
This song.
And that was very of the time. I want to fuck you. Yep.
And then she's like, actually, I just want to eat your soul.
Yeah.
And have, again, some good old Colin soup.
Oh,
Just like that scene of her just going,
yes.
it's so funny. It's so, and but just, like, again, the way she's like a frog.
Yeah.
The way she's like a gargoyle.
Which is another bi thing. Oh my God. Sorry.
What, the
I'm like,
gargoyle?
no, frogs. Apparently, like, I don't know, when you become bi, everybody, you just love frogs. So now I follow a bunch of frog accounts. But sorry, it was just funny that you were like, oh, she was eating this like a frog, because the whole thing is like, I think Jennifer is bi in my head canon.
100%.
So
yeah.
I'm like, of course she would fucking do shit like a frog. It's just a weird inside. Maybe if there's
Interesting.
any other bis watching this, you can say that you
let us know in the
collaborate.
comments.
Hopefully it's not just me.
Tell us your favorite frog in the comments.
Yeah, frogs.
Do you have a favorite frog?
Oh my God. There's this like pumpkin toadette, I think is what it's called. And I identify with it because it's this really cute frog, but it just like, it can't see very well. So every time, also it's just not coordinated well.
Okay.
So when it tries to hop, you'll have to look up videos, but it like kind of goes all over the place and never really lands well.
Okay.
And then the other thing is they can't hear great. So they're always just throwing out mating calls, but none of them ever hear each other because they can't hear very well.
So you relate to that.
So just
because
this hot
you
mess
can't
frog.
See, you can't hear, and you're sending signals
But
out,
like
you
I'm
can't.
trying my
And
best.
you can't, and I love that.
Thank you.
You're a little clumsy.
I'm going to double check. I think it's a pumpkin toadette is what it's called.
That's so funny.
I went down a YouTube rabbit hole and saw it, like it was like all these failed hops that it was trying to do. And I was just like, I relate, girl. But you know, we're hopping. That's all that matters.
We be hopping. She be hopping. And
She be hopping.
And you know who else be hopping? Needy's ferret. What the fuck?
Wait.
Why does she have a ferret?
Am I brain farting?
She
When
goes,
does-
"Hey, Sphincter, do you want?" Or
Yeah.
Spectre, not Sphincter. Jesus Christ.
Somebody's got to name their ferret Sphincter now.
Spectre, and she's like making like a bologna sandwich, and
Which
she's like,
I always
"Hey,
want bologna when I watch that movie.
She's like, "Hey, Spectre, do you want like?" And there's just sort of ferret running around. I'm like, okay, that ferret's really well trained, but ferrets are like they're cute, but they
never met one.
They reek.
Oh, I
They
believe it.
Reek.
Little Weasley things.
I babysat my mom's boss's kids. Ferrets, 2 of them. They're so smart. They escaped from their cage, and we couldn't find them in the house for like 8 hours. We eventually
Do they
found
like burrow?
No, they like anything they can fit their head into. Any hole they can like go into.
Oh God.
They got into the drainage system, and they were gonna go into the sewer. Yeah, it was scary. So ferrets are weird.
And they're still in the sewers to this day.
Man, my mom almost lost her job, and then we found them. But oh man, it was.
They're 10 feet long now.
They're like the sewer alligators or whatever, but they're. Dang, I totally forgot about the ferret, dude. It's good call.
So, but
It's very minimal.
It's just in one scene, not mentioned the rest of the movie.
It must have been a diva to work with. I bet there was more pages for the ferret.
They're like the
we
ferret
can't.
doing a lot. The ferret actually turns into a demon. It's a whole thing. Wait, who's taking care of the ferret? What is her mom doing?
And then its eyes light
I have
up.
so many questions about this movie. Like
Her mom's a nurse, I thought, right?
Yeah, but like, how does her mom's just like, oh, my daughter's now in
yeah, it would have been
prison.
nice to see how she. God, when Jennifer's mom comes in on Needy after the kill, that's like trauma too.
Yeah, which also
Because she's never around.
Yeah.
So she, for all she knows, like she thinks Jennifer's been fine. Like she doesn't think Jennifer's been acting weird, and then she just gets murdered
out of nowhere
by
and
her
it's
best
like-
friend in a gruesome way.
She's like Needy, and she's like, takes the knife out.
It's for cutting boxes. another simple line.
I was like,
but it works.
I was like, box.
It's like a box.
It's a box of munch.
That was my one-handed box.
So silly.
I sent you a picture of the pumpkin toad lake.
On my phone. Okay, let me see.
yay.
Pumpkin toad. Let's see.
Okay, I'm glad I got it right.
Okay, she's small. She's
Yes.
small. She's tiny.
She out here.
She's tiny.
She jumping.
Oh.
She hopping.
Tiny little toad baby is.
I don't know. I've just gotten really into frogs. I mean, orangutan's my favorite animal ever, but we're not talking about animals on this.
I mean, ferret be an animal.
Frog and toad are
Oh,
gay icons. I think that has something to do with it.
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough.
But also ferrets are wild, apparently, from what you just told me.
Yeah, that was
I had no idea. I heard that they could be like bitey, like as pets.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
kids maybe not always good with them.
They're
but-
really great pets. They just reek, and you need to make sure you have like 6 locks because they will escape, which is
and get in the
is
sewers.
scary. They're scary. So if you were, so now obviously, you know, we talked about if your friend was a demon. Now, if you were a demon, if you got those powers, like what powers would you want?
Oh man.
And also, who would you go after? Like, who would you?
I don't know if it's a demon power, but if there was a way for me to be like invisible or for me to be kind of like unseen, like maybe if I could project places quickly, I would love to just take out all the shitty people, like
Period.
racist, homophobes,
Yeah.
just all the pieces of shit that
Yeah.
really we could do better without them.
Wow, you're like, I would use my demon powers for good.
Well, because like I mean, I definitely hold grudges against people because
Oh, yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
Cancer, but most of the time I'm like, is it worth killing them? Not quite. I'd like to give
Yeah.
them like instant diarrhea in their car.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
You know, I don't wish them to be hit by a bus, like I'm saying like a metaphorical bus
Yeah.
of emotion,
Yes.
workload, stress. Maybe he get hit by a toy bus.
Yes.
You know, I let the fates decide. Or I like to say, I wish that all my enemies have a hair that they can't get in their mouth forever.
That's amazing.
It's
I
a
love
subtle
that.
inconvenience
Because
but
it's super.
it's super, but it's annoying, and it's
That's
just,
almost
it's,
like a rock in your shoe or
yeah.
something.
It's like not, and they can never find it.
No.
Yeah.
Damn, that's really good.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
envious. That's a really
So it's
good
like
one.
not, you know, like I don't want to wish them harm because I'm on this new journey where I'm like, I'm gonna do my best to be more positive and put that out there, even with people who don't like me.
Yeah.
Even with, you know, but it's
It usually helps you in the long run.
Yeah,
is the thing.
I'm
I try not to
trying.
hold on to that shit
Yeah.
anymore because
We're-
it's gross. It's like that stuff she throws up. That black
the
vomit.
black
like it
vial,
just,
which
it
actually
eats-
was chocolate syrup.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's not as bad. Yeah, I've had to deal with
Yummy.
fake blood before, and I would much rather the chocolate syrup
Yeah.
than the other stuff. It tastes awful.
I did for like the promo for relaunching. We did Carrie.
Oh,
I dumped fake
fun.
blood on my head, and the smell. I started dry heaving.
Oh,
And
no.
I had to dub over the audio because you can hear me go.
Oh no.
It was so funny. I should have kept it. Honestly, it was really funny.
Oh my god.
But I was like,
You probably looked cool though.
Oh, it was
I love
great.
how it looks. Like on Dragula, whenever they do that for the crowning queens and they
Mhm.
dump the blood, I always think it looks great. Like I love when it's all wet.
yeah. But then it's just like it's cold and it's like
Yeah. It's
It-
not fun after it's done.
Sticky.
It's like going on a water ride.
It's something else I want to talk about is the fact that this library has an occult
section. That's what he asked. He's like, we have an occult section.
like it is pretty. She's like, sometimes it's not big. I'm like, you still like that's
That's a pretty.
what the fuck kind of high school do you go to?
It's probably in that like tiny religious section that's like, well, we got to represent everybody.
Yeah, but public school we didn't have that.
No, that's definitely a more open-minded public school.
Yeah.
and what-
Especially not in the Midwest.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably like
Diablo
a bunch
Cody,
of
we have some
Bibles and then
questions.
that tiny sliver
Yeah,
book.
yeah. We have some questions, Diablo Cody. We got some questions. I think I really
Maybe it was her school. Maybe that's
She's like, this is obviously they all, which I think it's also funny to be like, we want to like to ask that and be like, of course we do.
yeah.
You know, just like, oh, sorry, I didn't. How foolish of me to
Yeah,
not.
you idiot.
How foolish of me to not know. We need to talk about the most famous part of this movie, which I tell everybody, they're like, I have no interest in watching this. I'm like, Amanda Seyfried and Megan Fox make out. Like
That was the thing for me.
you. Again, regardless of what sexuality, that's hot.
It's shot
It's
really
hot.
well.
It's hot.
It doesn't just feel like it's sexy for being the fake. There's a power dynamic happening
Yeah.
because see, I keep saying Megan. Maybe that's why I said Megan because I
Yeah,
was talking about the actor. Because I was like, I know I wasn't talking about the doll. Yeah, I think it's so cool because Jennifer knows she has this control over Needy. Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Jennifer has romantic feelings for Needy. It's more of just like wanting to own her and like
Yeah.
control her. And I do think Needy has had
Yes.
romantic feelings towards Jennifer. So it's
100%.
like it's very much Jennifer using all that. And also she's been seducing guys this whole time.
Yeah.
So she's like, I think she's bored and she wants to switch it up. Like
Yeah.
she's wearing Needy's shirt
Yeah.
in the bedroom. Like she looks totally different than she has any other time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's inherently hot when somebody's like wearing something that's like kind of representative of you or like showing like, I like this part of you. And I mean, just the technique of them kissing, it looks really aesthetically pleasing on screen.
It's great. So Amanda said, this is from IMDb, but I'm reading it for you. She's admitted that in interviews that she really enjoyed, making out. They actually like said that they developed like actual attraction towards each other.
I could believe it.
And she said, this movie was overlooked in theaters. I can't believe that no one wanted to see Megan Fox and me hitting it. Like, they had an extreme close-up of our tongues, and I'm telling you, the thing about the scene is that it's actually really sexy. I think Megan and I kissed really well together. We have similar kissing styles.
Yeah.
And it worked. We got it done for the masses.
No, it's so hot. I didn't know that was coming, and I was still kind of in that where I was like defensive and like hiding it kind of thing.
So like, no, this is it.
So I remember watching it with a girlfriend of mine, not a literal girlfriend, just a friend. Yeah. And she was fine watching it, and I was getting all like weirded out. Like I was like, this is stupid. I don't know why they have this in here. This is just for dudes. They did this to get guys excited. Like this is such a cop out. And then I realized later that was an issue with me, not the movie. And it's shot so well.
It's hot.
The chemistry is undeniable, and it's true. The kissing styles, because it's like you've seen a bad or experience.
Yes, I have.
Cat Person showed it really well.
Ooh,
if you've seen that,
I have not.
It's there's a very awkward kiss in it. And
Awesome.
it's a whole pivotal point for one of the characters, they talk about it. But yeah, it's true. That's funny that Amanda said that, because you do need to have a good kissing style, especially on screen.
Yeah, and also if
because
it's
you're just like eating
up,
faces or
it's
something,
like that close up. If it was far away, like you can kind of cheat it.
I wonder if there's any choreography to that. Like if anybody.
So I've been on set with an intimacy coordinator, and like the initial like, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and it's like usually like it was with a guy and a girl, and usually the girl is like, okay, what do you feel comfortable doing? Are you a top lip or a bottom lip? Okay, that's what you get to do.
Wow. Okay.
And I was like, I honestly would forget. And
that's just great that it's so technical, because I have been on a lot of smaller sets, so there was like no intimacy coordinator when we were doing that stuff. It was like, okay, I'm cool if you're cool, like, and especially for that time, I wonder. I mean, maybe Diablo Cody's set was a bit more mindful, of that stuff, but damn, different time.
Yeah, who would have thought? Any final favorite moments? What the fuck moments?
Oh man, I mean, I love so much of it. I think this time watching it, I heard a descriptor that I appreciated. It was whenever Needy and Jennifer are seeing the band guy, Adam Brody, and Amanda Seyfried says he was skinny and twisted like a petrified tree that I had seen when I was a child, and he was just skinny and evil.
Yeah.
And I'm sure to some people that might be a throwaway line, but it's like that. I've had that feeling so many times. And like, I think so many young girls especially see those guys that are, for some reason, those are the guys you go for. And they are like, it is skinny and twisted like this terrifying tree. But like, why are we drawn to that?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And
because they're bad boys.
Yeah.
They're bad boys. And they're in a band. He can sing.
He's from out of town. Also, the freaking 9/11 shooters, dude. When she's like, you gotta drink them faster, they get all gooey and brown. I was like, wow, could they do that today? I don't know.
Probably not.
But also, that seems like something that would be a shot in the middle. Like, that would be a thing.
Oh,
like,
100%.
But they're like doing it in like an honoring way, like a legitimate.
Yeah,
like,
they're not.
No,
like,
this is memoriam.
Yeah, this isn't like a.
But
like
it's a shot, dude. Oh man,
it's so funny. It's so good. It's so good, and I just love her being like, oh, one's higher than the other one.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could just like take a little bit off the top, or like.
That's what I would do. I did that before.
Yeah, it's not big of a deal.
Like,
good.
don't be lame.
But that's what she does. Oh, also the moment where Chip and Needy are having sex and combining with
that part is terrifying.
It's also so funny.
Yeah.
Because which it intercuts with Colin dying. And you have like the blood dripping down, and Needy's like seeing the blood, but the blood's not actually there. And she's like, and Chip is like, I'm doing such a great job.
He's like,
she's moaning for me, like, this is great. Just that moment of like, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna make her freaking finish.
He's like, am I too big? And that's such a teenage dude thing to say. I'm so glad I didn't lose my virginity in high school. I just heard so many stories that were similar to that, where it was like
funny, so freaking funny. But even like the moment where she looks up and sees, I think it's a dead Colin.
Yeah.
And Jennifer like on like
Another
gargoyle
terrifying
frog on the chair. So funny for that brief flash. Hello,
Jennifer.
hello, Jennifer. Jenny Pooh, are you here?
Hey, girl.
Hey, girlfriend.
What's up?
All of the
It's
lights
an homage. I know I'm not as
just
hot as you.
flickered. Yeah, sorry. This is and there's so many iconic
Yours is
lines.
so good.
I made this.
The white and black dress is an iconic look, and I love that she went for. I love that the costume design, whoever did that,
so good.
this like pure white, like she's trying, she's trying to seduce Needy's boyfriend, and so she's like, oh, what does Needy do? Like, it just seems so opposite from the way she's dressed the entire film.
Yeah, and she does, and he ends up dying, and that's so sad. And she's like, Chip, no.
No, that was brutal. But he also said she looked really hot in her dress before he died.
Which is such a guy, like
such a teen, like it just felt real. Like
you look so hot. He's like, you're delusional. He's like, no. And
it's so sweet though. Instead of him like trying to say something epic, like just like, this is it. I'm dying, but you look really hot.
Which is like, shut up.
I know.
Like, your last words were that, thank you. And like, I must have looked. Could you imagine if she didn't look hot? And he was like, you look like, he wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah. He's just like, it's been real.
It's been real. I guess I love you. Like,
thanks for letting me do you.
It was all right, I guess. I still wanted to go to the dance with you.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, they didn't get to dance. That could have been a corny line he said, like, I'll dance with you again later or something. If you just really want to break all the hearts. Okay, unironically, I do love that song.
It's a good song.
I fuck with that song hard.
It's a good song.
I never get sick. It's hard to find though. It's not on Spotify. It's all like weird covers.
Really?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, unless I'm just having a hard time finding it. Because I've looked at the official soundtrack and I can't ever find it anywhere.
What the fuck?
But whoever wrote that song, they got it. Like the time and the way.
It's so good.
It's so of the time. That's what we were listening to, especially young girls who were into that genre.
Yeah.
Again, shouldn't speak for all girls, but the girls I knew.
It's perfect.
So yeah, I never get sick of that song.
It's perfection. And every time I watch this movie, like, this is one that I will just sit down and watch.
Yeah.
There's not many movies that I'll be like, okay, I'm like, I can watch this over and over again. And this is one that, like, you can watch it so many times and still see those little moments, because there's so many little things that you miss. Like, I don't know, the fact that J.K. Simmons has, like, he doesn't have a hand.
Yeah.
Like, I always forget about that. And
Same.
I'm like, oh.
He whips it out, and then you're like, oh, that's right. This is the movie.
Right.
He has a hook hand.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like, oh, cool. Awesome. I love that they decided that for that character.
Yeah.
And like whatnot. Or like, he has a couple lines that are just like throwaways. He's like,
let it out, kids.
The kids screaming and it's being eaten alive by Jennifer. But it's just there's so many moments that are packed in this movie. And it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So out of 10, what do you think?
So if 10 is like a perfect film, like no flaws at all, I probably want to give it like an 8 for me. Like, I hold it really high because I do think there was a lot of stuff it was showing and giving us that was interesting as a viewer that we hadn't seen. Similar to what you said, I do think there's things that would have been interesting to explore or flesh out. I don't think it hurts the movie, but I definitely think it could have made it better.
Yeah.
Especially seeing that transition of Needy becoming the demon. I'm also kind of sick and would have liked to have seen a little more of her going after the band.
Yeah.
I love the photos. I think the photos and the especially found footage is really fun. But I would have just liked that one moment of her and him making eye contact at least.
Yeah, and him realizing, like,
and him
shit.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because that would have been really satisfying.
It also would have been interesting if she had like some type of like monologue.
Yes.
And like what are you just doing? Or she pretend to be like a fan. And she like
it could have been really fun. But again, I think that changes the movie a lot. I think it does make it longer. And it's like, would we have to tonally change other things about it? So it's like, I'm okay if it's an imperfect movie, but I also really enjoy it.
Yeah. It's also every movie is perfect and imperfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And like some people are like, no, this movie's the best. I'm like, it is, but it also is the worst. You know, some people love Scream and some people hate Scream, and that's okay. Like I love Scream, but I'm also like, I think
that's good art. Like if it makes an impact, if you love it or you hate it, that's great. I would rather do something that has a big reaction because I made a big choice rather than something where people are like, yeah,
exactly. And so I would say 8 as well. It's just, again, it's a good, it's funny, it's scary, it has some dated things, but it's also like it still holds up. And even if it is dated, it also like it feels kind of timeless.
Yeah.
In its own way. Like it's like, obviously the flip phones are one thing, but it's just part of the fun. But it's just it's a fun movie, and so iconic. And the big ass tampon, like so many good lines. Xing you, crossing you out. You're
so jello. You're lime green jello, and you can't admit it.
I am a god. She's lighting her tongue on fire.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't say that.
Lighting her tongue on fire. Like, that's hilarious.
It's so funny. And also, that's such a teenage, like, that your mindset. She's just like, that's what she's concerned about. Is like, I'm a god. I'm untouchable.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. That, to feel the confidence you have as a cocky 16, 17-year-old girl.
Dude. I mean, I didn't
really have that.
But, like.
So, I envy that.
Yeah. But also, remember, she was probably, like mid-20s when she did this.
For sure.
But, So now I'd be like, yeah, that was me in high school. Yeah. Really in high school, I was like, I'm scared of everybody. And my stutter's really bad. And I'm not going to talk to anybody.
Aw.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
High school, man. High school.
High school's for losers. I mean, it's not. You get better.
Yeah, you get better.
I'm digging myself a hole.
If you're in high school, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Period. Everyone knows, like, yeah, what are you, loser? Get out of high school. Jeez. You're
not a loser if you're in school. Stay in school.
No, stay in school, kids. It's good for you.
Because then you can do this
right?
stuff.
I went to school, and look at me now. Look at me now. We're killing it, and yeah, look at that. Wow. So at this point of the show, this is where you plug your stuff.
Oh, thanks.
She looks like she might be plugging. I'm done.
She'd be plugging. I'm plugging right now. I'm Emily, and I love to do comedy. I'm an actor. You can check out more of my stuff on emilykirk.com. You can follow me on my social medias at Get Kirked. I run a really fun show that I've been able to have Katie on in Sherman Oaks. It's every third Monday, and it's called M's Hotcakes. And the idea is every month it's hot comedians that I think you should know about. Also, I love food and sex, so the name's a double entendre. So, yeah, I always love having a good time, and I love to do fun stuff.
Yeah.
And this has been a blast.
Thanks so much for coming on. You're a blast.
Thank you for having me, dude. I feel like I got invited to the cool party for once.
You're always invited to the cool party. So, again, thank you to our sponsor, Filmcraft Studio Gear. You can find them at Filmcraft LA on Instagram and at filmcraftla.com. Also, Fangoria, we love you. You want a copy of Fangoria? Use Katie Afraidy 25. To get 25% off. It's a pretty good deal if you ask me. And again, like, subscribe, follow Emily, follow me. You know the drill. And okay. After every, oh my God, I gotta do it again. I keep forgetting this is something new I've started. Okay. Were you afraidy or not afraidy of Jennifer's body?
Oh, I think I'm afraidy in like the exciting way.
Okay.
Like, yeah, where that it's like almost like happy butterflies, like because most of the people that are getting it deserve what they get.
Yeah,
or I shouldn't say that. Not everybody. Teenage boys need to learn, but yeah.
Colin didn't. I don't think Colin.
No, he didn't. But he also made some dumb. He had to learn lessons the hard way.
Yeah, he should have known, but yeah.
But I'm also very into the idea of like victim becoming predator, like what Jennifer did. So that's why it's like I was afraidy, but I also kind of was like happy for her to take power back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. And okay, now's the point of the show where I like to give shitty advice or good advice sometimes about like from the film.
Okay.
For life. Honestly, if you know what, you had a great thing, I'm gonna use that. If you get possessed by a demon, use it for good. Okay?
Yeah.
Do your enemies need to die? No. But do like the racists, the homophobes, you know, the mean people, the really mean people of the world who are just, you know, making it hard to live daily lives. Maybe they should go. Maybe you should eat their souls.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that? I think it'll be great. Yeah. So that's my advice. And on that note, guys, we'll see you next time. Stay spooky.
Thought you only murdered boys. I go both ways.